All right, so welcome to this exceptional peer support session. We are it's really in response to the exceptional level of commitment and dedication that I heard yesterday that I offered to organize this peer support session to help anyone who is still working on joining the platform, submitting your project, or starting to peer review. So again, the focus is the same as it was on Friday with Auntie Charlotte. I'm here to help you finish your RCA project, submit your RCA project, and start peer review. We don't have guides on the site today. Do block incoming calls and take note of the key dates. The next key date is to finish your 3 peer reviews by Wednesday, 31st of July. And then after that, it is to, once you receive your peer review feedback, is to go back to the root cause analysis project that you just submitted and then make it better. And we'll be looking for significant substantive improvements, so real improvements to the RCA. You can see the overall dates here. The deadlines are always 10:59 p.m. West Africa time. And again, we're happy if you are here for one of two reasons. One is because you need help or because you want to help your colleagues. So reminder is of how these sessions during the week are set up. In this case, we're going to try to keep it short. I'm going to give some brief reminders, which is what I'm doing now. And then we'll be I'll be opening up, asking you for each of these three issues, finishing your RCA project, submitting it, and then starting a peer review, asking for people who have specific problems, and we'll try to problem solve those together. I'll first give a demo of how to do all three of these things in time. So we'll see if I can manage that. But so the time pressure is, of course, that you now have until Sunday night, thanks to Auntie Charlotte's generosity, to write your root cause analysis. And then yesterday was the formal deadline to submit your root cause analysis. So just some reminders: do not submit your RCA project by email. Do not submit your RCA project via WhatsApp. Do not submit your RCA project via the Dropbox. In fact, we have blocked the Dropbox, so you can no longer submit via that mechanism, which we use for group work. You will not receive feedback if you send your RCA project. It's only using the platform that you can do so. So what I'm going to do is actually show you from start to finish how to do that. And I'm going to share with you, for anybody who needs those steps, it should be quick. But I do want to be very practical and actually demonstrate how easy it is to go through these steps. And so if you're having a problem with the platform and you haven't managed to successfully submit, I'm going to, let me see, I'm going to first, yeah, go to show you that step, and you can actually, with me, if you haven't done this, managed to do this yet, you can actually go to this page, the page that I just pasted in the chat, and you should see the same thing that I'm seeing on the screen here. And of course, there's another program running on psychological first aid for Ukraine. That program is closed, so do not try to join that. What you want to join, of course, is the root cause analysis. So you go here and then enroll now. So when you enroll, if you have not yet created your account, you'll go to register. If you already have an account, you'll go to sign in. If you've had problems logging in, you go to forget password, and that should get you back where you need to be. So here I'm going to register, and I'm going to use so an email and then a public username. So you should make your own, and then this is a critical step. You need one letter, one number, 8 characters at least. And then you need to make sure that you can remember your password. In fact, I'm going to save those so I can make sure that when I need them, I can go back to them. So now you create your account, and now you could click on enroll now again. So this can seem counterintuitive. Why do I have to enroll now again after I've registered? And there's actually one more step. If you do it this way, which is a little bit different from the tutorial, then you click on the program and you go to begin course. But you should see here at the top, remember to confirm your email so that you can keep learning. And so to confirm now, you see, don't miss that blue bar at the top, because if you do not confirm your email, this is to verify that the email you typed is correct, that you can actually receive emails on that mailbox. If you don't do that, you won't be able to access the platform. So in my case, I've used my Gmail address. So I'm actually going to go to my private Gmail address just for the purpose of this demonstration. And you'll see here, there's account activation, action required, activate the Geneva Learning Foundation account. So make sure you click on this activate your account. And I know probably most of you have already done this, but for anyone having problems, I'm going to try to demonstrate to you what to do when you have problems. So now I'm truly in because I've activated my account. So you will be able to access the platform, but you won't be able to do anything until you actually do that. So now you click on begin course, right? And here, it'll ask you if you want to take the tour. You can skip for now. And now you can click on start course, but and just go here. And here is the peer review exercise. So the first thing you see is called your response. And this is actually where you're going to be submitting your RCA. You can see here, when you click on this little blue triangle, what will this assignment be graded on? So we're not grading per se, but this is what the platform calls it. But this is what you'll use for peer review, and this is what your colleagues will use for peer review. So you have here, you should recognize these. These are the 5 sections of your root cause analysis project. Excuse me. And so this is, gives you some indications, but this doesn't help you submit your project. So this assumes that you have worked on your project and that you have a project ready to submit. We'll go back for anyone who's still working on their project as to what you put into your project, how you quickly do your project and things like that. We'll deal with later. Right now, the first order of business is if you have your project ready to go, how to submit it. So you'll see at the bottom, this is a reminder of what needs to go into your project. You need to explain your challenge, explain the most important root cause you found. So it's not just your project is not just the 5 whys. That's what we focused on in the first 2 days of the live sessions, but the project is more than that. Then we ask you to stop and think, explain what difference this will make, and explain what you propose to do. Now, if and only if you have a project, a Word document or a PDF or a PowerPoint that addresses all these things, including the details, everything that's written here, for example, then you can go and get the file. So you go to choose file, and I'm going to go to my own project here. I'm going to choose the file on my hard disk, and I'm going to upload the file. So you can't upload the file until you've selected it, and you'll see this here, but let's see first what happens here. Now I clicked on upload file and it says we could not upload file. So what is the problem? It says, please provide a description for each file you are uploading. So even though there's already the file name that says my root cause analysis project, in this case, I suggest you just type RCA, okay? Once you've done that, then you can actually upload file. Now you have uploaded the file, okay? But let me show you what happens. Just to be clear, I'm going to delete this file because I have not yet submitted it, so I can still change it. I'm going to go get the file again. Now, if I type RCA, but I don't click on uploaded file, so I have selected the file but not uploaded it, and I click on submit response, then it says we could not submit your response, please upload a file. So you need to do all of the 3 of these things. One is choose the file, write RCA into the box, and then click on upload file. Until you have done all 3 of these things, okay? Now, strangely enough, the error message stays there, but you can see now that the file is actually there. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on this. Yeah, here. So you can see the way I know the file is there is this is my file name that I uploaded. Make sure you haven't uploaded something by mistake. And then if you need to change it, you realize you uploaded the wrong file, or after the session, you realize you want to make some changes. Up until you click on submit your response, you can still change it. But be careful, because once you click on submit your response, there is no way to go back and change it. There is no undo. So I hope that's helpful. So here I'm going to submit my response and move to the next step. So here you see these weird hash lines. You actually have to scroll back up and say, okay, and confirm. After you submit this response, you can't change it or submit a new response. So remember that. So you confirm that, and now you have something different. It doesn't tell you what just happened, but remember we were working on your response, and that's where you submit your response as your RCA. So when you go back up, you can see it's now marked as complete. It says your response has been submitted. But now, if you close this up, you'll see there's a step two, and step two is to assess your peers. So that means give feedback to your colleagues for their RCAs. Now, here you have the same reminder of what needs to be in the RCA project. And then here you have, now it's confusing because it says files that were uploaded by you, but you can see this is not my file. This is from, this is root cause analysis and vaccine hesitancy in zero dose LGA in Kebbi State. It's because I'm now being asked to peer review this work by someone else. So I'm going to change a little bit how I share my screen. And, go here. All right, and here, let me just see if I can, yeah, here. Okay, so here, the first thing I want to do is, the first step of peer review is to download the project. All right, so I'm going to do that here. So you click on the blue link, and now in my downloads, I'm going to have something that corresponds to the project. So here, right? So this is vaccine hesitancy. So this is not my project. I'm going to peer review this project. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So first thing to do when you peer review is to take the time to read, and you have to read 3 projects. So here, I'm not going to take the time to read it, but what you will need to do. Remember, you put in work to develop your project. So, do justice to the work that has been done by others. Take the time, respect the work of your colleagues. I think that's really critical. Now, let me just, I have too many things open in Word, so I'm just going to reopen that just to clean up a little bit. Yeah, just to have only that open so we can look at it together. And so this is now, I've now uploaded my project, and as soon as I do, I'm presented with someone else's work, and my task is to peer review it. So here I can start reading through it. And you can see this person has been very diligent, has got a nicely formatted project. But that doesn't mean, again, so I'm going to go to the learners resources RCA project. And here we're going to look at what's called the rubric. So the rubric is your instruction manual for this process. And so here I'm going to see, okay, well, this is everything that should be in the explain your challenge section. So write about an immunization challenge in your area, explain why this problem matters, describe your work role and situation, describe your work setting, explain how your role and context influence the challenge you face. So then I go back and look at what this person wrote, okay? Did they explain the big problem they see with immunization? 15% of children under 5 account for zero dose, discovered in 3 LGAs out of 21. This gap occurs due to lack of education. So far, this person is, seems to have been quite comprehensive describing their situation. They talk about their own job. So now I can go back to the peer review platform and look at the first criterion. So what does the first one say? So is there no challenge? So it can't be that, because there is a challenge identified. Um, um, and so I then can go through this and say, well, is it poorly defined? Mentioned but poorly defined, limited or no explanation of its importance, no connection to different stakeholders. Well, looking at this is actually quite complete. It's short but to the point. So it's definitely not poorly defined. Does the immunization challenge is explained but lacks detail? Some attempt to explain its importance, but the impact on different stakeholders is unclear. So, I think this is this is actually quite, quite comprehensive. I would say it's better than that. Um, so is it well explained, sufficient detailed? Its importance is discussed, including some impact on different stakeholders. The writer's role and work context are mentioned, but not fully integrated into the explanation. So, so yeah, so maybe, yeah, when I look at this, and again, this is, you will make your own judgments when you do peer review, but I'm going to explain something very important. It doesn't stop here. This is only step one. Just checking the messages. Okay, so that to Abubakar, that means if you submitted your RCA project yesterday, that's great. That means you should be at the stage now we're working on now, which is how to do peer review. So in this case, I've downloaded this project from the platform. This is someone else's project, and I'm actually reviewing it. Um, Now, it's supposed to be anonymous, but many of you have given your name to the files that you've uploaded. So in this case, but in principle, they certainly won't know. I would say this is actually, yes, quite comprehensive. So I would hesitate between well explained and comprehensive. But when I look at all the criteria here, comprehensively explained with clear, specific details. There are, key pieces of data. So 15% of children under 5, 3 LGAs out of 21. So I would actually think that I would say I could still see some room for improvement. So I'm going to say well explained. You may find that this deserves a 4. I'm going to say it's well explained. But if I say it's well explained, or whatever I may actually say about this project, I then have to actually explain what the rating I assigned. So if I'm going to say that the writer's role and work context are mentioned, but not fully integrated into the explanation, I think for me, that's why there's a 3 points rather than 4. Then I have to help the writer do better. So when I look at this again, this section, um, you know, I observe firsthand challenges. Yes. So, um, I have, I have, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, well, if this is missing a point, okay, if this is missing a point, then I have to help the author get that extra point back. So your job is not just to say, um, to say that the person has done something good or bad, nice or not nice. Your job is as the reviewer is actually to help them improve. Um, so that's really what you want to do. So here, I would say that what I'm missing here is exactly you how as a pharmacist, how did you observe these issues as a pharmacist? Um, what was your own role in the immunization activities? I don't quite get that. So yeah, I'm missing some information about your own role and context. So that's what I would say for this section. So once you do that, you can move on to the next section. I'm not going to do a complete peer review, but just to give you a point, a place where to get started. So here I look at what this author has written about explaining the root cause. But before I do that, I actually go and look in the rubric, in the instruction manual, explain the root cause you found, and here I can actually, so first of all, can you do something about the root cause? So the first question I would think about reading this is, well, um, this person says they experienced this challenge when they went for supportive supervision. Um, so yeah, let me just make sure we're talking about the same thing. Yeah, explain the root cause. So making sure, I ask questions using the 5 whys. Why men forbid their children from receiving immunization? Why do they have mistrust in the vaccines? Why do they not have information about why are they not available? Okay, so it sounds here like this is a common mistake we're seeing in the root cause analyses is that um, this person has asked why 5 times, but remember what the guidance says, and let's go to the guidance here. Let me see how to do root cause analysis. So let me bring that up here, and this is another key document, and I'm going to share these documents with you. Let me do that now so that if you are at the stage where you're doing peer review, this is what you need. So these are the 3 documents that I'm sharing with you now. They are now available in the chat. All right. So now let's go look at this guidance. So remember that when you ask the first why, you write down your answer, you look at your answer, and you ask, why does this happen? So the first thing here, this person clearly has not performed root cause analysis using the correct method. So I'm going to to tell that person. So I'm tempted to say no root cause analysis or superficial. Given the strengths of the rest of the project, again, I'm probably, I'm going to be probably tougher than most people on assigning ratings. I'm going to say actually, because the 5 whys process was not evident. This person is obviously trying very hard, but they did not understand, they did not follow the correct procedure to do the root cause analysis, where it's not just finding 5 different responses to why, so 5 different possible causes. It's asking why, and then the answer you give to that first why, you ask again why. So the difference would be why men forbid their children from receiving immunization. And so you say, well, they have mistrust in the vaccine because they have mistrust in the vaccine. Why do they have mistrust in the vaccine? Because they do not have information about immunization. Why don't they have information about immunization? Because they're not available during community engagement on immunization. Okay. Now, as a reviewer, I just realized that actually I misjudged this work. This person did use the 5 whys technique correctly. So you see, for me or for anyone else, taking the time to, to really respect, you will see some people have done really bad, shoddy work. They obviously haven't done this. They just wanted to submit something. And so, yes, so Bashiru Maidama, no worries if you're facing network issues. We'll also make the recording available afterwards. So actually, I'm going to completely change that, because then if I look at the rest of this, evening review sessions, interviewed health workers, used monthly reports. Many of the men that prevented their children from receiving the vaccines were uneducated, poorly informed. Families often believe in stories that are myths, rejection of vaccines. Okay, so what I can see here is there's a bunch of issues here: staff shortage, poor storage. If the root cause would be this, that they're not available during community engagement on immunization. So if the community and engagement is only reaching women caregivers, so the mothers, while the fathers are at work, if that's the root cause, then this part doesn't make any, these are other considerations, but they're not really part of the root cause analysis. They may be other considerations, but they're not presented as such. So actually, I will upgrade this from a superficial RCA to well, I hesitate between partial and well-developed. So I'd like now to open up to the room. We're much small, we're a small group. So this is really for the most dedicated participants who are attending here. I'd like to ask you, please raise your hand if you'd like to tell me what rating would you give to this section for this work that I'm being asked to peer review. Would you give would you say it's superficial, partial, well-developed, or thorough? So please raise your hand. You can also just unmute yourself, because we're a small group. We're going to try that. I'd like to hear what you would give to this person. Going along, hopefully, to the to this with the yes, John Emmanuel. Yes, John, a warm welcome to you. Hello, John. Hello, John.
Hello,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So tell me,
All
for
right.
this author, what rating would you give to them for their RCA, and why?
Well, my name is Johnny Manuel from Tafao Balea local government, Bauchi State, that is northeast part of Nigeria. I've been following the RCA of the person you are dealing with. He was well detailed from the beginning, but he was not able to give a good explanation to the 5 whys. He was not explaining the question he asked at the next point by answering the question and then asking the question again as the guide instructed. So by rating, I would say is a superficial development of RCA without integrating the real RCA into the 5 whys.
Okay, so John, if that is your rating, what would you explain if you are looking at the author in the eye, you are sitting with the author? What would you tell them so that they can improve their root cause analysis? How are you going to say that? Because that is what we're asking.
I will appreciate his effort and also encourage him to do more by integrating the root cause analysis, the root cause of the challenge into the 5 whys in order to get the real RCA. That is what I would tell him.
So that's still kind of general, like if
Hello.
Yes, if you're going to tell me that something is wrong with my RCA, can you help me make it better?
The network is breaking. I'm not getting you clearly.
Okay. All right, I'll move on then. Let me know others if you are able to hear me or if this is a more general problem. But this is
All right.
We can hear you, brother.
Yes, please go ahead, Elizabeth.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Elizabeth, what rating would you give? Let me show the this section again. For section 2, what rating would you give?
Only that is not visible. It's tiny.
Okay, because you're on your phone. All right.
Right, it's tiny. Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can do something something for you to help with that. Oh no, because yeah. Hang on, let me see if I can do something or not. All right, let me try this. Yeah, is this any better for you? Is this good? Are you able to read this?
Yeah. Yes, I'm able to read now.
Okay, so
Thank you, Reda.
yeah. All right, so the question is, what again, what rating would you give? Does this look to you like obviously there is something there that the person has done root cause analysis? I initially thought it was superficial, but actually he did go through the 5 whys. There is some confusion in how it's written. Like he finds a root cause, but then doesn't really, get into it. And doesn't. So what rating would you give to this author and why? Elizabeth, are you still there? All right, and then we have Nofor Azuka. So Nofor Azuka, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Ask.
Good afternoon,
Yes.
everyone. Though I'm using phone, I'll go for partial. Partial root cause analysis. That's the second one.
And
can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely, loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay.
And so
The reason.
Yes, the reason is the important part.
The reason is that from her first explanation, she did perfectly well, but when it comes to asking using the root cause analysis, that's where he or she fails it, because it didn't flow. Based on the explanation you people gave to us, it has to flow by asking questions. From question to question, you get the why, not just repeat. It have to flow like an onions, because you use onions as a it can even pass up to 5. Like for example, though I can't see very well, let's assume what is her cause. I can't even pick it. Let's assume, for example, a low immunization. You start by, why is it low immunization or low immunization? People will just, the next answer will be because parents don't bring their children to be immunized. Why do you ask that question? Why do parents fail to bring their children? It flows like that, not just bringing another new a new why or question or what to add into that. I don't know whether I make some explanation to that, but
Okay.
it didn't flow. It didn't flow. That's the most important thing. It was
Okay.
just bringing this one different, in quote, different questions or issues or problems without
Yeah.
getting into the root cause. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much indeed. So remember, the root cause analysis is just one of the 5 sections. So what you need to do for each peer review and make sure, so you need to decide which rating you assign. So actually, having considered, you may not have been able to read everything, but I have. And so just yes, just 1 second. 1 second, I'll be right. Et donc, and so for each of these criteria, what we're asking you, what you need to do to be a good peer reviewer, it's not just making a judgment, telling that the person is doing good or not good. It's actually helping them do better. So you heard Auntie Charlotte on Friday give you examples. So for example, on explain how you found the cause. You let me see, actually, on the peer review feedback, sorry. Let's look at this. Yeah. If you tell someone, okay, that was a good explanation of the root cause, that's the worst kind of feedback that you can give. Why? So Uh, so if I just say, give us feedback, so you say, you did good, and that's well intentioned. It's always nice, somebody who says good job to you. It's always nice to receive praise, but that doesn't actually help you. In the same way, if all I did was I tell someone, just like the rating says superficial RCA, so I write superficial RCA as a comment, that doesn't tell anybody what they can do to improve it. What is good is if you say, well, a good 5 whys provided and a simple explanation, but you are missing credible sources. And that's already, that helps the author see the strengths as well as the weaknesses. So that's, yes, yes, thank you, Chinwe. Yeah, so again, if you want, the collaborative is about collaborating. Who comes in first? We're helping each other do better for children and families. So you want to do the best job that you can. What feedback would you like to receive from your colleague? Ask yourself what you would like them to tell you to help you improve, and then you can explain that to them. So, again, for the feedback on finding the root cause, you can explain how they could use the 5 whys better. You can suggest a root cause they could work on if theirs is just too big, or the principal told about a job. If somebody says the cause, originator, what you're going about that in practice, because this doing the root cause analysis, not an academic exercise. This is not something you're doing in school. This is something you are doing because you care about your job, you care about the children, and want to find activities, things we do that will help. So review, you can actually give feedback to go about it. Now I'll show you. So I'm going to go very quickly and give some feedback. So here, again, and I encourage you to take more time than I'm taking now, because I have read many projects, including this one. I kind of know what I'm going to say, but that there are differences between facilities. what are they and what makes the difference? So, I think it is well developed. Yeah, some aspects explored do not seem related to the root cause. Can you explain what are the linkages? Okay. Now, this is probably fewer comments. I would say hopefully this is good feedback, but it's not great. It could be better if I had more time. And if I think of all the time that, so, if you think about how much time the person spent writing this, then, okay, Ukamaka, you say your grade would be partial because he did not get to the last root cause. He did not mention why mothers are not well informed wise. Okay, so that's your call, but really it's not just giving the rating, it's actually okay, so what they should do differently. So think about saying that constructively. Instead of saying you did not get to the last root cause, you could say, well, you could improve this by finding the last root cause and by mentioning why mothers are not well informed. This is anonymous, so if you're rude, they're not going to know who you are. But again, how would you like it? If you actually want to help someone, being rude to them is generally not a good way to start. Yes. So the reflection on feasibility and priority. So this is let me think. This is the stop and think. So let me see what they have there. Lack of education puts the children at risk. So this is again, an engagement of men in the community. What I liked about the root cause is that if it is in fact that there are engagement activities with the community, but those engaged activities say are during the day when women are at home or at the market and men are working at work, and so the engagement not their children go for vaccination. So here you have you have a problem. Um, so here we think about whether you can fix, but here this person is going on about something else. So it's a bit confusing. The person didn't finish their sentence there. Life instances, example immunized. Okay, I don't understand. This means examples with the children that were fully immunized. So I mean, what I heard from the root cause is that this is about finding ways to reach the men. So something like, could you go into the workplace, and work say, ask the companies or that about vaccination. All right, let me try sharing the screen once more. I'll stop sharing and then start sharing again. Otherwise, you swipe with your finger if you're on your phone, and you turn your phone horizontal so that you can see better. Explain who else. Okay, so actually community and religious leaders is a common answer, but if the problem is that actually we want to reach the men with community engagement with information about vaccination, then it's actually the companies, so the bosses of the companies or the organizations that the men work for, or maybe other places where men congregate. So where do they go after work? Are there places where they can be reached? So that could be community and religious, but it could also be, the local bar where men go for a drink after work. Maybe there's a way to reach them in vaccination there. So this is just an example. I do not presume that I know this person's full situation, but what I can tell from the way this project is written is that there's a lot of different things, and they don't seem to be really focused on one root cause. So here on this section, I think I'm going to give the lowest rating. Feasibility and priority, I think is, well, there's a lot there. So basically, my message would be, yes, there is a lot of information, but not all of it seems related to the root cause identified. Men not being missed by engagement efforts, so yes, I would suggest you refocus on a single root cause and ensure that every activity proposed and be something that you can actually do, that is targeted at the root cause. All right, so I'd like to ask again, open up again if you'd like to raise your hand or just unmute, to what rating you would give and why on the sections that on this section that we've seen so far, where you're asked to stop and think. So please go ahead, either raise your hand or raise your hand or just unmute, as we are a small group today. And this is an optional session, which I offered really in response to the level of dedication and commitment that I saw. Of course, unfortunately, it is the most dedicated and committed scholars and members of the collaborative who tend to attend such sessions, the people most in need, who are really behind, who haven't understood how to work on the project, and who are having problems with the platform. If we're going to get to you in case there is anyone like that. James, I know you as dedicated, committed members of the collaborative, so I want to make sure that you can progress with peer review. Anyone would like to share? And I know you've had very little time to read. You don't have the actual project, but you've only seen it on screen. What would you go? Do you agree or disagree that there's limited reflection about feasibility or priority here? Please raise your hands if you'd like to make a comment or ask a question about how to do peer review. Yeah, so please don't be shy. All right, we're almost done with this peer review. Feel free to raise your hand at any time now. List the good changes. So this is about outcomes. So let's go. Yes, what it says about outcomes. This will help to increase immunization coverage and reduce the rate of vaccine wastage and expiration. So I really don't like that one. That one is really vague. And yes, I understand, Shinwei, the problem is you're not able to really read. All right, so for Husseina, you don't get a grade. It says that's what the platform calls it, but just to clarify, 3 of your colleagues are going to review your projects in the same way I'm doing now. So this is peer review. So it is fellow participants, fellow colleagues, members of the collaborative who are going to review. And you also have 3 projects. As soon as you submit your work, you can see I submitted my work here under item 1. It says if you've done it correctly, it says complete, and it says your response has been submitted. And now we're dealing with item 2, which is peer review. And you can see it's in progress here because I've done the first of 3 peer reviews that I need to do. So here you can see for each item, you need to give a rating and then make comments. You need to do both of those things for every criterion, or else you will not be able to submit your peer review. Some of you have already run into that problem. Some people try to go very quickly. They just give ratings quickly. Maybe they don't even read the project, because before you do anything, you have to download the project, and you do that by clicking here. Now, this blue link will be called something else depending on what the person called their project. But you need to download that first and then open it up on your device and go back and forth between reading the project and actually filling in the peer review. You do need to be connected to do peer review. You won't logged out, but you do 24 hours in which you can start a peer review and come back to it, and you should find your information. So if you're not able to do everything in one sitting, that's okay, but you do need to finish within 24 hours of when the peer review has been given to you. Otherwise, you may be halfway through a peer review and the platform thinks that you're not, it will give you to somebody that's surprised. Now, good changes that happen with vaccines in projects. So this project that I'm peer reviewing, my project, I think this because I've submitted my project, and now I of 3 by my colleagues. Peer review means that bad job. If we explain how it will help. So, yes, you know, if I just said this is good or this is we've said like this, and that cannot be a comment. If you, this is vague, you don't mention where you work, the community stuff, so you doesn't tell the author why there's. And so here you need the best example is specific on how things will change. Just should be yeah. Apologies, I lost my connectivity, so I'm back and I'm not much for your patience. As you can see, it does happen to everyone, and we all suffer when we lose connectivity. So, as giving an example on this section, what difference this will make of what are good and bad examples, let's look at what this person says, because I do want to finish one complete peer review here. So you say what good things will happen. So this is very vague, and I don't see how you can, I don't see how, if the problem is, so I understand the root cause in this project. The person is saying that it's that there are activities to educate families about vaccination, about the benefits and the importance of vaccination. However, the activities reach women, mothers, at home or at the market or wherever, but they are failing to reach men. And so men don't know, are not reached by these activities. And therefore, men make decisions about vaccines or whether or not the children go to for vaccinations. They don't know. And therefore, they say, no, my children does not get vaccines. So yes, you know, this can help. So if you fix that, you can help increase immunization coverage. I don't really see what reducing vaccine wastage and expirations, that sounds like something the person just put down there, you know, I don't see how it relates to the rest. There's a lot of information there that doesn't relate to the root cause. There seems to be confusion about the root cause itself. So an increase in 30% to 40% in fully immunized children. So that means that the initial coverage was 10%, which seems very low, even for that part of Nigeria. So that doesn't make sense either. It looks like this person just put down numbers, you know. So let's see, 15% of children under 5 account for 0 dose. That's not clear what that means either. So again, this looks, when you first look at it, it looks like the project is, has been really well put together, but then it doesn't, once you start to read it, it doesn't actually make sense. So now if you don't, you know, if you don't have the experience in immunization, for example, well, you know, you may not be able to make these kinds of comments. You may make other kinds of comments in the way you understand the project. Remember, every person gets 3 peer reviews. Yes, Sadatu, we all have problems with the network. My recommendation is to find a workplace with a good Wi-Fi. You know, if your organization has good Wi-Fi, you know, many organizations are supporting the collaborative, and part of that support includes you doing that. So, on the incomplete discussions of outcomes. So here I was just remember. Okay, let me know. Others, let me know if my voice is breaking for everyone. It should not be. I'm checking my own connectivity. So here I would put on the incomplete discussion of outcomes. So I have to explain it. That's the important point. Specific improvements are mentioned. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll be quite critical. This seems like a jumble of different information, but unclear how these possible outcomes would result from tackling the root cause. Suggest you simplify, you take out everything that is not directly related to the result, and really focus on how better information for men about the benefits of vaccines could result in more children vaccinated. Yeah, so that would be my suggestion, trying to be constructive, but also being quite blunt. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I would actually add that, but we haven't actually gotten to that. And I know some of you are looking at your phones, explain how these ideas will help. This will help. Yeah. So what you propose to do, different steps, continuous advocacy using local language, traditional and religious leaders. This doesn't actually get to the root cause. These are just generic activities that pretty much anyone in immunization should be doing. It doesn't talk about the specific role of men, even though I thought that was the interesting thing about this project. So, I would say unrealistic or basic, but I really want to convey that the author could improve. You could, yeah. There is a really important root cause you identified, men not being reached with information about the benefits of vaccines. And maybe maybe I'm misunderstanding, but the rest of the project, yeah, I'm going to be quite critical. Yeah, I hope you will be more constructive than I am. Seems to be all over the place. Sorry to be, yes, I'd love. Okay, let's look at that, Halima, as soon as we finish this peer review, because I want to show you what happens when you submit. I'd love to be more constructive. Yes, but really recommend that you remove everything that is not directly related to the root cause itself. No need to propose all kinds of generic activities. If you want to reach fathers, what would you do? Focus on that. Okay, and actually, yeah. So I think I'll put this in here. So what aspects of this response stood out to you? And then now I have put a rating and a comment for every criterion. Now I'm in the position to submit my assessment and move to response number 2. Okay. Now, for Halima, I'm not sure if you were here in the beginning, but I believe the problem is most likely due to the following: is when you submit your project, you need to do 3 things, and I wish I could rewind and show you those 3 things. Halima, would love to hear from you. Where are you at? What happens? Because you should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Reda. Well,
Yes.
I followed the step you showed earlier because I started this meeting. We started this meeting together, and I followed the step again to now resubmit my RCA. I did that, and it's still showing me that this assignment is in progress, and you still need to complete the peer assessment step.
Yes. So
And-
you're in the right place. Yes. So that means
And
you have.
under the peer assessment step, I have not seen any file for me to review.
Okay.
Even
So
though it's showing 1 of 3 in progress, but I've not seen any file so far
okay. So when you go, can you
that I
try?
need to review on.
Yeah. Can you try going to? So first of all, can you try to reload your reload the screen? You type F5 if you're on the laptop. Otherwise, just click on the little. What I mean by reload is you see just make sure you load the page again, and see if that makes a difference. Because what you should see is here, and it's kind of easy to miss because you see it actually, what's confusing is it says files that were uploaded by you, but that's not actually what it's showing you. It's showing me the root cause analysis. Now, the author in this case, it's supposed to be anonymous, but the author, Rebecca Bello, put their name in the file. So, this is where you'll find somebody else's root cause analysis. Can you go down, scroll down to associated files and tell me what you see there?
No, Rita? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm just having a few network challenges. I'm just getting back to the Zoom platform now. I've not seen any associate file.
Okay. So but you do see assess peers, do you see that?
Yes, I've seen assess peers, and I clicked on it. I went down and I saw associated files. However, there are no files there.
Oh, okay.
There are
do
no
you
files showing there.
Yeah, so this could be a firewall, or a browser issue or some other kind of issue, but this is where you should see. So what I would suggest is, yeah, and do you remember your email and password that you used to create your account?
Yes, I remember.
Okay, so it sounds like there's some issue on your browser that's preventing you from seeing this file. I
Okay.
have an ad blocker turned on, and I can still see it, but it could be something related to that. You should definitely be seeing something now. It could be small depending on what the person called it, but you should see something here. You know,
Uh,
so
um, okay, let me restart. Probably let me restart the system again and probably.
okay, yeah. What browser are you using? Are you on your laptop?
Yes, I'm on my laptop. I'm using Chrome browser.
You are. Okay, yeah, that's what we recommend. So,
Mm.
one thing you can do, let me so I'll do it in Chrome. Let me just see. Yeah, is you know, yeah, so really that's I would say keep trying. Log out and log back into the platform.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, so TJLF.
Okay.
Yeah, because you should,
I'm
it
trying to
sounds
do
like you're
that
doing
now.
everything right so far. Yeah. So see, you should see something come up there, definitely. So let's go to John Emmanuel. I don't know if that's if you still have your hand up from before.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm back again.
No.
What's
Can you
your
hear me,
question?
sir? Yeah. My question is, after I uploaded my RCA, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. After I uploaded my RCA, I went for peer assessment or peer review rather. The file that was shown to me, that was a little rider under the file that that the review of this file is to my risks or something like that, like a warning. So I was scared to review the file. I have to leave it. I say, okay, today I will ask the question, why such a rider under the file?
What was the message? Oh, this caution.
Yeah, it's a caution that that this project is not complete or something, that if I review it to my own risks.
Yes. So, you know, participants, each participant uploads a Word file or a PDF or something else or PowerPoint.
Okay.
You know, if the you know, but you can safely download it. Make sure you check it with your antivirus or anti-malware software before you open it. You know, this is this with health workers from all over Nigeria participating. Is some people, you know, are very cautious about their files, others are not. So that's it's just a, you know, to exercise some caution. We are scanning everything. On our team is scanning everything for malware and virus. But there's still a very small risk, you know, that someone is going to get, you know, is going to
Okay.
open up these files and this will be a problem. But I have no problems, you know, you know, I'll download this one just to show you that, to give you, you know, proof that yes, this is something that you know,
Okay.
that you can do. I just downloaded this, and
Okay. Okay. The second question, sir.
Yep.
After reviewing the first file, we are expected to review about 3 authors.
all together,
Am I right?
projects, yes. Okay, I
Hello?
think we just lost John. Yes, I hear you. Yes, you are
I
expected.
said we are expected to review 3 pairs.
Correct.
After reviewing the first pair, am I to refresh the page, or the second file will pop up after submitting the first review?
So yes, indeed. I just did this, and you can see now I submitted the first review by clicking on the blue button at the bottom. Let me go back to the bottom here and just, yeah. Okay. So here you can see right now it's gray. Once I have filled in every rating and every comment, then I can submit, and that will move me to the next one. If you do not
Okay.
add a comment, you know, and it can't just be one word like good or yes or bad job or good job. that's not helpful. You need to actually take time to, to write something that will help your colleague. You're doing
Okay.
this just
Okay.
like you would want them to do for you. And for each of these criterion, you need to give the points, for each one, not just some of them. If you miss only one, you will not be able to submit. This will stay gray at the bottom, will stay gray. So you need to have
Okay.
filled in everything before you can move to the next one.
All right. All right. So the next one will pop up automatically after submitting the first one.
Yes, and there in principle, I did not have to reload. The window reloads automatically, and you should instantly see the next one. The only reason you would not see the next one is if there are none available. If everybody does peer review very quickly, in some cases, but this should not be a problem because with the collaborative, there are 500 submissions. 500 root cause analyses that have been submitted.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, Selena, please go ahead. I'm asking you to unmute. Okay. Are there other questions? It's taken me an hour to work through a complete peer review, so I hope this is useful. I have another video about how to actually write your project for people who are still at that stage. It is 23 minutes, so I actually did it's, of course. And so basically, if you haven't written your project or you're not sure how to finish, now I did see one question about, someone who submitted very quickly and now has realized that they would have liked to do more on their project. So unfortunately, once you have submitted, you cannot go back. But remember that, so you will receive, the peer review feedback based on what you actually submitted. Nevertheless, again, I'm going to go back to the slides. Let me just, go here to the schedule so you can see that. You do get a second chance, and this is really key to the course. So the 3 peer reviews you have until Wednesday to do, and I hear many of you are already done, but I would urge you to take the time to do justice to the work of your colleagues. That's why we've highlighted the difference between bad feedback that's just not helpful, and actually, saying something like "good job" doesn't help anybody. Because the person then has to figure out, well, what can I improve? And so being insulting to someone, this is a terrible project. You don't have a root cause. It's that most people don't respond to that very well. Even if you are right about what you're saying, you still need to do better than that. Again, imagine you are looking the author in the eye. All right, you are at their house in their home with their family, and you are looking them in the eye, you're sitting next to them, you're sharing a meal with them, or you are you are in church, or you have just finished prayer at the mosque, and then they ask you, so what did you think of my project? Okay, put yourself in that mindset. The peer review is anonymous, but imagine, it is a close relative who is asking you for feedback. You're not going to tell them you did a horrible job. They're not going to take kindly to that. Even if it's true, you need to find ways, I did a horrible job, so help me make it better, because this is the collaborative. We are collaborating with each other. Now, you have until Wednesday to finish your 3 peer reviews. So you have, for those of you who've submitted, you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You have the full 5 days. If you do 1 peer review per day, you can do a really good job on each one. And again, for each one, the process is that you download the document from the author. You take the time to read it. You go back and look at the the rubric. So this is the instruction manual, how to write your root cause analysis. You go through this and you say, well, did this person do all that? You have another document, which I'll show you, which is a kind of checklist, which is the guidance for peer reviewers. Let me show you that. Here. Yeah, here. So again, you have the ratings, so you can see them on the platform. But again, you can work offline. You just download the work, you download the person's RCA project, and then you can disconnect. So you don't, so you're not wasting bundles. And then you look at this and you say, okay, well, which rating am I going to give this person, this work, this project, for explain your challenge? And you can actually take notes, in the document, and then connect to the internet, go back to the platform, and copy and paste your answers. That is one strategy that will save bundles. And my top recommendation is to actually find a way to find a good Wi-Fi that you don't have to pay for, but that may be difficult in depending on where you are. Elizabeth, your hand is raised, please. And Selena, I asked you to unmute, but you did not respond, so we haven't been able to hear from you. But again, I acknowledge your raised hand. Elizabeth, are you able to hear me?
Yes, thank you, Reda. I have a question here. My question is this. It said that when I wanted to download peer to do the review, they said that at my own risk, at my own risk.
Yes, that has scared more than one of you. So this is, again, you can safely download these. Make sure you have antivirus or anti-malware software on your computer or on your device. Because again, this has been uploaded by someone else in the collaborative. So we assume everyone is responsible. I, I can show you again. I will download this, so you can download these. Yes, these should be safe as long as your colleagues have exercised the same caution that you exercised. Of course, if you run into any problems with the files, do let us know. But again, we trust each one of you in the collaborative. You are health professionals. You are responsible. And we trust that you are submitting work that does not contain viruses or malware. So that's just a generic warning. You should not, you can safely download these files. And we trust each one of you to be responsible about this. All right, we've now spent an hour and 12 minutes. I just want to make sure if there are any last questions. Yes, Selena, I've asked you to unmute, but you have not responded, so we have not been able to hear your concern. You can also type in the chat, I'm asking you to unmute again, but you have not responded. Perhaps you do not know how to unmute when you are requested to unmute. You should see a button or a prompt, so click unmute. If you say no, if you decline, there is no way for me to unmute you without your consent. So that is why you haven't had a response. So I hope this overview of the peer review process, we saw so many of you going into peer review so quickly. We wanted to make sure that that you got a good briefing and background on it, so that no one gets lost or confused because of it. And also, this is such a critical part of the process. If you do this too quickly, you are doing a disservice to your colleagues. If you don't do this at all, it's even worse. Some of your colleagues will end up without any feedback, and that's terrible. Imagine if you've put hard work into your project, you then put hard work into peer reviewing the projects submitted by 3 of your colleagues, and then you go back and you see that people have given you nonsense feedback or no feedback at all. So that's really what's at stake here, is for everyone to to do their best work. Right now we have 240 submissions and 180 peer reviews. There are 48 peer reviews that are waiting. 12 of you have already received your final grade. So again, if there will be situations in which if you have 3 reviewers and they all do a bad job of reviewing your work, you will not be penalized, okay? We'll look at individual cases to make sure no one is penalized unfairly for this, right? So, but we want to make sure that is why it is really critical. Your colleagues depend on you, and you depend on your colleagues. So Sadatu Abubakar, welcome to you. Please go ahead. I'm asking you to unmute. Yes, Sadatu, You are unmuted.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, welcome.
What about my project, RCA project? Have you
Yes.
received the project?
All right. So let me see if I can, if I'm able to tell you that. We'll be posting a list after the deadline, but we don't have that list ready yet. The way you can tell, let me share my screen again, and I'll show you how you can tell for yourself. You can see for yourself if you have, if you have actually, let me see what's in the chat. Which email do I use to log in after I submitted and to do? So Selena, so let me just answer Selena's concern. The email to use to log in after you submitted is the same one you use to create your account. So use the same account. Now, let me go back to the course. And so to answer Sadatu Abubakar's concern, when you go back, again, we'll go to start course. And here, so once you have submitted your RCA project, you should see complete here. So Sadatu, do you see that when you go to the peer review platform?
Okay. So I'm trying to start my peer review. I'm in the next page, but it will not go the next page.
Okay, but do you see, can you look on your screen? If you're on your phone, look down. You see this little green complete. Do you see that when you go to the peer review platform or not?
I have seen it, and I'm in progress actually.
Okay, good. So then, yeah, so what you do is you open this up, you click on the little blue triangle here. So it opens up, you scroll down, and then here you see associated files. This is where you download you get the RCA that you need to review by one of your colleagues. So this one is a PowerPoint file. So you click on it, it's going to download, you go to your downloads folder, and then you open it up. In this case, you'll need a PowerPoint or something that can read PowerPoint files. And then once you open it up, then you can start your peer review down here.
But I'm using with my phone. I don't have the laptop here. So
Okay,
that's
so
why.
in that case, you'll need to download an app. We recommend WPS. So let me get you the link for that. Yeah, so here, and this is free. Just be careful, you're downloading it from the link that I shared. So here, can you see the link in the chat that I posted? Can you see the link in the chat?
No.
Okay, so let me do it. Let me try another way here. And is there anyone who could help Sadatu who's actually done this, because she has not yet started peer review? I'm just going to lower all the hands, and let me see. Yeah, just clear all feedback. If someone would like to help, is able to, if you have time to and are willing to help Sadatu, please raise your hand. This is where really we see the power of the collaborative. Is wherever you are in Nigeria, if you can spare a few minutes for Sadatu, you can help her make it to the finish line. So is there anyone who would like to help her? Maybe there isn't, and then maybe, but if you would like to help her, please unmute or raise your hand. All right, is there anyone who's willing to help her? What I'm showing on screen is the free WPS office, so that you can
Yes,
open different kinds
I
of
saw
documents.
free WPS office for Android.
Okay, and so once you have that, you should be able to open the documents from the root cause analysis. It's kind of hidden. You have to really look carefully, especially if you're on your phone, for this associated files. And then for each peer review that you do, you'll click on this, download it, open it up with WPS Office, and go from there. So just asking Ukamaka, Tsalha, Selena, Sabatu, Elizabeth, Olayode, Nasiru, Mohamedou, Malan, Lillian, Kabiru, Husseina. Actually, we have two Husseinas, Halima, Fani, Chinwe, Bashiru, Faiza, Kinduru, any of you, are you willing to help your colleague Sadatu to figure out how to download the peer review? Adamu Dauda, please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Reda.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, I've started doing peer reviews, but I came across one that is almost, I can say, empty. So I don't know, should I go ahead and just grade him 0 all through, or what? Or probably he may see this and, you know, decide to maybe correct it or something. I don't know.
Yes. So some people, yes. So we have seen blank projects. So those are all zeros. There's actually in Telegram, we shared something. We already shared some guidance on this.
All right.
We just,
That's it.
let me just try to make this bigger. So make the text size bigger for people, especially for people who are on their phones. So yeah. Yeah, so if the RCAU peer review is not complete, give a 0 rating for all the incomplete sections. For example, so for blank project, it's all zeros. Remember, you have to type something in the comments. You can say, again, you can be polite. You can say, sorry, your project is blank. There's nothing in your project. I encourage you to remember that the timeline is that you will have time to then revise your initial RCA project and make it better. For that person, if they want to finish the exercise, then they need to do that.
Okay, I understand.
All right, and then Ukamaka, if you're yet to download your peer review, so yes, you can do that now. Some of you have been wary because of this caution, but this is, anytime you receive a file from someone else on the internet, whether it's by WhatsApp, by email, there's always a risk that there's something wrong with it. So we're just, telling you so that you're responsible for the security of your IT, of your device. But I am downloading most of the projects because we're all, the team is reviewing them. We may in fact flag some of you who submitted incomplete projects. The other thing we've seen is individuals who have shared a project in which they just do the 5 whys. And this is what we did during the group work. We really focused on the 5 whys on the first day, and then we did the other parts on the second day. But the RCA project is much more than that. It's really all of everything that's in the instructions. So I'm going to reshare the documents. Let me just make sure. Let me just clear a little bit of room here. All right. So first of all, the first document I'm going to share is the instruction manual, so what we call the rubric. So that's your instruction manual. If you haven't seen this yet, and you're still working on your project, or you are peer reviewing projects, when you read a project, you should also look at the rubric, at the instruction manual, because the instruction manual, the rubric, tells you everything that should be there. So you can then look at the project, and it's not just your opinion, is according to the rubric, is it there or not? If it is there, then it's more subjective. Have they done, what they were asked to do? Now, there's some specific guidance for peer reviewers, and these are the ratings. And then there was also a checklist, again, for people who haven't submitted their work yet. There's a little checklist here, which, and so if you haven't gotten these yet, we've sent them to you by email several times. We've sent them to you by Telegram several times. But if you haven't gotten them for whatever reason, you'll definitely grab them from the chat. You can download them. They're very small files, so they should not take, they should not be difficult to download. I'm going to show you each one of them in turn. And I am keeping an eye out for raised hands or other comments. Ukamaka, are there other peer reviews after project submission? Okay, so I think so. Yeah, if you have done 3 peer reviews, we have put everyone under a lot of pressure. Let me go back to the schedule. You can see the first week, The first week is intensive. We had the 2 big sessions with a group work, and we also ask you to finish your draft RCA. Now, you have until Wednesday to do 3 peer reviews. So for anyone who is done, if you have done your peer reviews, you do have an option to do more than 3. Some of you might enjoy it, find it useful and interesting to see what other people have done. So you are welcome to help out and do more than 3 peer reviews, especially if you take the time to do each one. If you do quick ones that don't help anybody, then please don't, okay? Please refrain from doing so. So anybody who has finished their 3 peer reviews after submitting their draft root cause analysis, you are free until Thursday. All right. Now there will be live sessions, and what I would ask you, for those of you who are in that situation, is to actually join the peer support sessions. This is the collaborative, but what I can see is that there are 23 people here, myself included. No one has responded to Sadatu Abubakar's call for help, call for assistance, call for support. So I would expect Nigerian health professionals to really rise up to the challenge. If a colleague needs your help, that you would step up and offer to help. You can share your contact information with her. And, she probably doesn't need very much, but just taking 10 or 15 minutes with her on WhatsApp, showing her how to do the things that she hasn't understood yet would probably make a world of difference for her. So if there is no one really to help her, I will, I will do what I can to help her. But I'm a bit surprised that there's no one who's willing to assist her. And then what you will do starting on Thursday, is you will receive your peer review feedback. And when you have your peer review feedback, you use that, you look at what people told you, and you will have to make decisions about what you want to improve to your project. And then you make those improvements, and you submit a revised final root cause analysis that should be much better than the first version. I'll be honest, there are many of you who have submitted RCAs. I have seen actually very few that do really a good job of really getting to the root cause, really mapping out something you can actually do, and then figuring out what are the activities that you would do. So many of you will have significant improvements you make. So simply submitting something by Friday or by Sunday, that is really step 1. The next stage is to really learn from the experience so that you can improve your root cause analysis. Our goal is to help you get to a point where the RCA that you have, you can share it, you can present it to your boss or to your team, and they will be impressed. They will say, okay, we had not realized, we thought the problem was vaccine hesitancy, but you have uncovered through the power of the collaborative that the root cause is something else. And so we need to target our activities to tackle this root cause. So the opportunity is not just academic exercise. If you do this right, you can take this back to your work and use it to make a difference. So I think we'll stop actual session, and it's really because in dedication, we want each and every one of you to get to the finish line and to do something that can actually help you. So Husseina, yes. So again, I would encourage you to, what we'll do is 5 minutes, we'll go into breakout rooms. We're a small group, so we'll just do, let me just see how many there are. So 22, yeah. So we will do a small breakout group. And if you want to explain where you are at, and let me see, so 10, yeah, here. So each of you can meet. It'll be one-to-one, so you're not doing group work. This is just an opportunity to really meet one-to-one, so you can say hello and check in how the other person is doing with their RCA. Here we go. All right, you should be going to a room. So use this time to say hello and use this time to check in. How is the other person doing with their RCA? Have they registered on the platform? Have they submitted their RCA? Have they started peer review? Have they finished peer review? Please, if anyone needs help, perhaps someone else in the room can help them. You can swap you can change your WhatsApp details and follow up after this meeting will close. Thank you. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Should be back in about 10 seconds. All right, welcome back, everyone. Okay, we're going to close this session, but I hope this has been useful. I think we should do more small groups during peer support. I have to really close this session because I have my family waiting for me. And so apologies for that, but I will continue to respond to messages on Telegram. Do take the time to read the instructions we provide and to follow the links. Most of you can solve your own problems without having to ask us questions. If you have problems, we are there for you, and we'll do everything we can to help you. But we cannot, some things you need to do. No one can do them for you. So those are the things we encourage you to focus on. Once again, thank you and goodbye.